Hey, this is Will Johnston from SuperiorMind. And if you really want to learn how to level up your life, you should be listening to the Time to Shine Today podcast with my good friend, Scott Ferguson. Let's level up.
Time to Shine Today podcast varsity squad. It's Scott Ferguson, and I'm going to bring you a fantastic guest who's become a pretty good friend of mine. Now, his name is Will Johnston. He played D1 basketball for Virginia Tech. He's also a retired Navy SEAL. So he's an ass kicker and also somebody that provides just a ton of service. And we had this a fun 30-minute conversation about performance psychology, how you can really know what your why is, and then take it from there to the next level, and a lot of self-awareness. So this is an episode you might want to share with somebody that needs it, because it will just absolutely brought the house down with this. So break out your notebooks, sit back, relax, because here comes my really good friend, Will Johnston from SuperiorMind. Let's level up. Time to Shine Today podcast varsity squad. This is Scott Ferguson, and I got some home cooking coming on here. I served, a lot of people know about my deployments, this, that, whatnot with the U.S. Navy, but I got a legit badass, awesome sauce, really laid back cat, recently married. He's Frogman, SEAL team guy, and he's also a former D1 basketball player. And again, like I mentioned, a retired U.S. Navy SEAL. Currently working as a mental performance consultant for SuperiorMind, which I'm going to drop a link to the app in the show notes. Don't go there now, but it's something you're definitely going to want to get into. My good friend Will here is giving me an opportunity to kind of play around with it, and it definitely will level up your mind. And like I said, it's a mobile app built for people striving to improve and succeed. He received his master's in sports performance psychology from the University of Denver, where he still resides with his awesome, soft, newly beautiful, minted wife. He's passionate about affecting positive change in people's lives. He's a pet lover and he loves to level people up through enhancing their mental performance and well-being. He digs going camping, keeping himself in shape, outdoor adventures, and live music. And Will, thank you so much for coming on. Please introduce yourself to Time to Shine Today podcast varsity squad. But first, what's your favorite color and why?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me on, Scott. Really appreciate it, man. It's been great getting to know you. So yeah, favorite color, I will say turquoise.
Really?
And not blue, not green, but a bluish green. And it's a specific type of blue green.
Right.
Yeah, just love that turquoise color. It's just a distinct shade, hue. I think it represents just calmness and optimism, and I feel like I try to portray both of those things. So
yeah, man.
Yeah, turquoise.
And it's in your color wheel. If you're watching Vimeo or anywhere that you're seeing this video, when he's a handsome devil, he could rock turquoise. Some dudes can't rock turquoise, man. Sorry, brother. You know, I got that dark skin. I can rock pink. I can rock all the other jazz. But no, turquoise is awesome. I know the exact color you're talking about because I see it looking out the window over here at the Atlantic Ocean. So I get to see that quite a bit, man. So,
but, lucky dog.
Yeah. So, brother, like, again, one, thanks for your service, man. Two, congratulations on your nuptials pretty recently. Just fantastic. I love the story you told about how you met her with push-ups and all that jazz. Just absolutely kick ass. But let's get to the roots of you, brother, because you did a lot more in such a short period of time in your life, Will. Like, man, you played D1 basketball, and you're like, oh, I want to hear the story and how you kind of Mustanged over into say, okay, I'm going to go out for some of the legit baddest, hardest asses that walk this earth. So we get to the roots of kind of growing up athletic and getting into the teams.
Yeah. So I grew up in a pretty athletic family. Older sister had 11 state titles in cross country in high school. Wow. Then went on to run at Arkansas. And then younger sister ran at Wake Forest and then played soccer at Virginia Tech. And then younger sister below that also played soccer at Virginia Tech. So I had to play basketball at Tech. It was kind of no other option. But no, both my parents went to Virginia Tech, and I knew I wanted to play college basketball. And just really wanted to play at Tech. So I started my freshman year as a walk-on and earned my way up to a scholarship. And then by the end of my sophomore year, started and didn't look back from there. And then wanted to continue on. Wasn't good enough to play in the NBA, so was talking to a couple agents about playing overseas. And then my senior year, my head coach at the time, Buzz Williams, who's now the head coach at Texas A&M, gave me a book on the Navy SEALs. And I read that book, and that was what I was going to do. Just really vibe with the passion and the drive and the values of the guys that go and serve, and really, really enjoyed that book. It's called Fearless, about Adam Brown. Definitely check it out.
It's
if you've
legit.
never heard of it, or
Right.
Yeah. So anyways, got that. And he made a comment after one of our little practices at Tech and said he's Navy SEAL like tough. And that was the same week he gave me that book. So I was like, all right, what is this Navy SEAL stuff? So then read that book, was just on that trajectory after that, and then went in straight after I graduated.
And so did you go in as like an 01, 02, or like how did you work that out with? Did you go and enlisted?
Went in enlisted.
What?
So
Wow.
Yeah. So I had spoken with a few, probably half dozen guys that had, some of them enlisted, some of them went in as officers, and was just really trying to gauge what I wanted to do. Obviously, assuming with a degree, you go in as an officer. But speaking with some of the officers, they were saying that you're not going to really be able to do exactly what you want to in terms of being out in the field, shooting the guns. If you do want to be an officer, do that later on, because then you gather
over then. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. You get more respect, and you really get to do the SEAL job when you think of what a SEAL does.
Let me ask someone, is there a rating now out there that's SO, that's straight up SO for the special operations in the Navy? Because back when I served, there was no, like, if you were like an AZ, like a paper pusher, right? You'd have an AZ, but you have the Trident. Is there like now an SO in rate? Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So you go in with a contract to become an SO immediately. Whereas before, when you were talking about a few decades ago, not to age you, I think it's been probably 15 years now where it's been, you go in, you make it through BUDS, you make it through SQT, you become a SEAL, you're immediately SO, have that rate.
Very cool. Cool. Because I just see that. You're the first person I've ever asked. And I hang out with the guys, the young bucks, a lot down here in Florida, because they have the UDT center just north of me here. And I just never asked them. So I was like, hell, man, that'd be a great question for a podcast. Nice. And then you went in and enlisted after you had a degree, right?
Correct.
That's awesome, dude. That's baller. Yeah. That's awesome. So what kind of leadership lessons did you take from Buzz and then also the teams and pull them forward to how you discipline your life right now?
I mean, everything really. Just looking at not only Buzz, but my strength coach at the time, who's still at Virginia Tech, David Jackson. Two mentors that I really, really looked up to at the time, and still do have a great relationship with both of them today. It was really just them kind of putting that fire, or not really putting that fire in me, but helping me discover that fire. And that the main thing was that I wanted to be a person that was a person of action, not of just words. And if I'm not a big talker, I like to kind of walk the talk instead of talk the talk. And so my goal was to just be able to inspire people through what I did and not what I said.
Wow. Yeah. A lot of people, I was told this by mentor when I was younger, that you can talk or whatnot, but the action is where it's at. And if the action, you keep progressing, other people do the talking for you. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I really pushed through, because when I was younger, I wanted to impress everybody. Like, yeah, this. And Sam was just like, shut up, dude. Just do the shit. Right. And then then people will talk for you. I love that, man. So what is then what's your, because you went through camps, getting ready for seasons and also for battle, like what is your definition of discipline?
My definition of discipline, that's a great question. So I think what I would say in that is being able to delay gratification, and knowing that you're going to experience pain and some suffering regardless of what you do in life. Is it going to be the pain of I missed out on an opportunity and becoming who I wanted to be? Or is it the pain of I didn't get to do this immediate pleasure, or I had to do a little bit uncomfortable working out, studying, reading this book, doing the things that you may not want to do,
Right.
but doing them anyway, delaying that gratification, knowing that you're going to experience pain regardless.
That's no matter what. Either what is it? What did Jimmy Rohn say? Maybe it's Tony Robbins said, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Right. It's like one of the two, brother. Which one would you rather have? Like, looking back, I don't want to have it. And I know you don't want to have it. Like, oh man, what if? No, forget that, man. So tell me about what's going on at Superior Mind. Are you working with individuals, coaching them, consulting them, or what's your story there at Superior Mind?
Yeah, so Superior Mind right now is not doing one-on-one consulting. That's something that I'm doing on the side. But Superior Mind is an app that uses performance psychology to help people improve their mental health and performance at whatever industry, field, profession, domain that they do. And so really what it does is have multiple categories. One is to improve their performance and all the things that they want to do at work, all the goals that they want to achieve. And then also just mental health and growth and self-improvement in their everyday life as well. And then it also has another section on helping people find their purpose, which I think is foundational to success. Yeah. And then another thing is the goal setting. And then we also have the recharge section as well, which we were talking about before, just short little breath work, kind of like an enhanced power nap type thing to help you feel calm and experience that relaxation throughout your day.
Yeah, I stepped on stage in Boston a couple weeks ago, I was telling you, and a month ago, and did the recharge, just because I always do something whether it's binaural beats or whatnot, just where I just kind of sit and chill, where I want to put myself, I think it's in the Delta state maybe, where you don't sleep, but you actually feel like you just took a nap, for extended, and that's what there's an acronym for it. It's something not sleep.
NSDR, non-sleep deep rest.
Yeah.
So it was coined by Andrew Huberman. Not sure if you listen to his podcast. Yeah. So it's basically yoga nidra, a form of yoga nidra, but it doesn't have the whole Sanskrit terminology and all that type of stuff. It's more of like a simple everyday type person's way of going about that relaxation, not falling asleep, but letting your body just experience that deep rest and recharge.
And the app is on like all the app stores, right? Whether it's
Google Play, or App Store.
Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. Super easy. The thing is Squad, again, I was blessed to be able to use it, and it's super easy to use, super clean feeling, super easy to kind of flip through and find the different, where he's talking about performance, mental health, finding the purpose and the recharge. It's all kind of sectioned off to go to where you need to. It's not like just all kinds of stuff jumbled. And it's also a really bright screen, right? It's like a lot of like nothing against Mind Valley, because I've used them. I still use Mind Valley sometimes, right? But it's really dark and it's just hard to navigate. Like, I found Superior Mind really super easy to navigate. And I hope that it stays that way, because that's especially if you're a busy dude and you're like, dude, I need this non-sleep deep rest thing. Whereas, oh, boom, it's right here. Let's go. Instead of having to search for it. That's awesome. That's awesome. So with your consulting that you're doing right now, are you doing a lot of one-on-one stuff right now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Just athletes of all various sports.
Okay. So what do you think then makes a great coach or consultant in that line of work?
I would say, number one, it's the relationship that you have with that person before your consulting relationship. So being able to have a working relationship that is, I care about you and who you are before your performance, before anything that you want to achieve, making sure that they know that I truly do care about them as a person before them as a performer. And I think once they have that understanding, then they have that trust in you, and then they really open up and can listen to what you have to provide them with.
Absolutely, man. It's funny because I used, since I don't know, like, again, I'm old, Will, but it was like 1997. I started using what was called the Ford, Family, Occupation, Recreation, Dreams, right? And being from the Motor City, it's kind of cool for me to remember the Ford. But like, if I can know about the family, what you do for work, what you do for fun, and where you're going, it's a lot easier for me to coach you. So I really start every relationship just like that. I love that you said you have a relationship before you get into actually leveling them up. So you actually give a shit what they want to in the direction they want to go. That's beautiful. So if you're in a one-on-one situation, Will, is there, if you don't mind sharing some of your secret sauce to help them find that initial blind spot they might be working with?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really just getting them to start with that sense of self-awareness. I think that really is what is the foundation of performance excellence. Having that self-awareness. What am I thinking about when I'm on the court, the field, in the pool, on the track? What is going through my mind? Where am I focusing? When are the times that I lose my focus? When are the times that I lose my confidence? When are the times that I do feel confident and really focused? So starting with that sense of self-awareness, really trying to use imagery, visualization to put themselves back in those situations. Okay, so this is what I was doing at that time. This is what I was focusing on. That is when I lost my focus. I was really tapping in all these distractions, wasn't focused on what I needed to in that moment. And then that's where my performance suffered. And that's where I've been going wrong or whatever it is. I'm using focus in this example.
No, I feel you. Yeah.
Just cultivating that self-awareness is where everything starts.
That's beautiful. Yeah, because it does all start with there, because you have to know what's going on in your roots before you can really take off into the world or into your events and whatnot. Really staying present. Because, and again, you kind of come from a sport where you got to stay present and aware with basketball. And then obviously hard target situations or whatnot, when you get into the real world, into the SEAL teams and stuff, yeah, your kind of life's on the line. So they're getting coached and consulted by a really perfect person with that. So when you're working with these people, again, sometimes they're the best person at like their high school. They're their biggest fish in their pond, and they're starting to work their way through life, right? And I'm blessed to work with golfers that are the best on their home track. They get into the locals, they own it, but then they get into college and then they get owned. And that's where I am blessed to have them passed on to me. But when we sit down, it's a lot of me doing the talking, right? Like at first, really getting to know them. But when you're maybe in a discovery session, Will, is there any good question that you wish they would ask you but never do?
It's a great question. Yeah, I would say coming from the perspective not of, oh, I wish they would ask me this so I could just give them this great knowledge because I'm so wise. Not coming from that perspective, but more from the perspective
for saying that, bro. That's deep. But go ahead. Sorry.
Coming from the perspective of, I wish that they would ask me this because that means that they're thinking about this more.
Yeah.
And that is centered around why. Like I was talking about before, purpose. A lot of times in those initial sessions, it's like, I have all this performance anxiety, or I get into the high pressure moments. Like, how do I handle this? What should I do? How can I be more resilient? What can I do to improve my focus? Whatever it is, it's like, what and how do I go about it? But if you really cultivate that strong why first, that it's like Nietzsche said, he who has a strong why can deal with anyhow, or however the words go. But
absolutely,
I wish that they would ask me more about the why versus the what and the how, because once you have that strong why, the what and the how kind of figure themselves out.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, it's funny when the athletes, they're so present in their moment, but outside of their moment is when their why gets questioned the most, because they have so many other distractions. They're coming in. I was super blessed to be able to talk to Michael Johnston, Olympian, that held the record for a while. And he was like, dude, when I was in the moment, it was head down, pump my arms, explode, I'm a bullet. And that stuck with me. It was like, there's nothing else that matters within that time. But his why was baked into his process. You know what I'm saying? It was that was the most fabulous. And also Steve Aoki, the big DJ dude that's out there, kind of shared some of his why and his performance and whatnot as well with me. And again, it's, you hit the nail right on the head. Ask your coach, like, are we going to dig into my why? What in the right way to do it? That's fantastic, man. So then, have you seen the movie Back to the Future, Will?
Yeah, well, long time ago.
Yeah.
McFly.
I know. Well, let's get in that DeLorean with Marty McFly, all right? And can I ask your age?
Yeah, 31.
Okay, so you're 31. Let's go back to the 18-year-old Will. Is there any knowledge nuggets you would drop on him? Right. So, because what I'm hearing is that you're raised by like awesome parents, athletic, a lot of sisters and whatnot, right? So you have like different outlooks on stuff. But is there any knowledge nuggets you would drop on the 18-year-old Will, not to change anything, because your path, your journey is pretty freaking awesome, but to maybe shorten a learning curve and level up maybe just a little bit quicker?
Yeah, I love that question. What I would tell 18-year-old Will, freshman year in college, is work harder, not smarter, or work smarter, not harder. And with that said, I don't think there's any substitution for hard work. If you get into where you want to go, it's going to take a lot of drive, a lot of hard work, and maybe you have to give up on some priorities. But when I was 18, it was push, 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 never recover, never give myself any sort of break. And I think it was helpful. Like, it got me to where I wanted to be, achieve my goals and playing basketball at Tech and becoming a SEAL. And it did work for me, but I also would get to the point of extreme burnout, or I would just become injured all the time. My senior year at Tech playing basketball, I specifically remember a story. My senior year, I'd had this is after my second elbow surgery, and I had a pretty messed up elbow. Like, it was just like opened up basically, and was kind of hiding it from my trainer, didn't want him to see it. And then eventually, after one of our games coming home from Wake Forest, we opened it up, and you could literally put 3 fingers and touch my tricep tendon because it had opened up so much, and I'd been hiding it because I wanted to keep going and playing, be the hard worker and whatnot. But like, my trainer was like, "You're a few weeks away from this thing having to get amputated." And so that was just an example of me just continuously going, not take an extra hour to get more sleep, or to breathe, to meditate, just kind of be where your feet are and relax a little bit. And I would always just go drive. And that kind of pushed me to a spot of a little bit of burnout, a little bit of struggles with mental health, and not exactly where I wanted to be mentally or physically.
No, that's we this is the thing I go through with these young bucks that I coach, is that recuperation is key to anything, man. I don't care if you're 18, 19, 20, you're still going to have to get into that protocol of it. And I work with a lot of performance coaches from the physical side that are starting to really take on that protocol, say, okay, ice bath, ice elbow. The trainers are really taking really close looks at them. But I understand why you would hide it. You're a walk-on. You wanted your minutes. You wanted to prove. You want to keep that scholarship. That's pretty baller. But I get it, man. You got to step back and make sure you're recuperating as well. So, yeah. How about your dash, man? How do you want your dash remembered? That little line in between your incarnation date and your expiration date, your life date and death date. Hopefully it's way, way down the line, Will. But how do you want your dash remembered?
Yeah, hopefully it's a few years down the line.
Yeah, dude, like way down the line, right?
Yeah, that's another great question. I think, first of all, like I was saying earlier about speaking with my coaches, is that I want to be known as someone that inspired people through my actions and setting that example and impacting their lives in a positive way through what I did and being a leader. I think another thing is being a person that provided a calm and enjoyable presence to be with. I think that's so important. Obviously, self-improvement and growth and performance, mental health are extremely important to me, but being able to have that calm and enjoyable presence is also very, very important. And then lastly would be to be known as a really great husband.
Yeah. Well, you're off to a good start. That's pretty awesome. So let me like, is there a side of you, because I've talked to you 3 times now, pretty chill dude, but is there a side of you that's like, it's fucking go time?
Yeah, totally.
It comes out, but is it noticed?
Yeah, I think for sure. I think there's always that on and off switch. And I think that is so, so important for anyone to understand. When you're at work, be on in a workout or whatever it is that you're trying to really attack, whether it's jujitsu, whatever it is, like
Right.
get in that, turn that switch on, but then also be able to turn it off. And I feel like I do a great job at turning it off and
Right.
turning it on when it needs to happen. Definitely don't want to be sitting here with the switch on, being violent when I'm trying to have a conversation with you
Right.
or with a client, you know.
Right.
But yeah.
No, I was curious about that with you. So is there anything that, or what do you think people misunderstand the most about Will? That you don't have that side?
Yeah, I mean,
they probably think, oh, he's so laid back. But no, is there
right.
anything that like, man, like just people don't see it, which is fine if there's nothing, because you're very transparent as it is, but just curious.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say it probably is that I do have that on switch, and the people that my brothers that I worked with in platoons, like maybe they didn't see that off switch, whereas like a lot of people now see that off switch.
Right.
I mean, with that said, I try to be who I am is who I am.
Yeah.
I think I'm pretty well understood by most people that know me.
Yeah.
Maybe anything else I could think of would be, although I do work in the industry of an online application,
Yeah.
do not like social media. I think
Dude,
it does have some
can't
benefits.
Find you anywhere, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
and that's
I mean,
how I
you
want
have
it to
a
be.
pretty common name, but I was like, dude, I had my producer dig, bro, and I'm like,
Yeah.
we had to dig for even a picture of you in a Hokie uniform. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So, I mean, yeah, that's impressive to me, man. To be like, I'm that way. Like, my coach wants me to, oh, you have to find a platform and blow it up, and I'm like, okay, I understand why she wants me to do it, but there's that side of me.
Right.
It's not me.
Right.
So I love
The
that.
same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's
man.
I think it's kind of, especially social media is more of like that idealistic lifestyle, and so
Yeah.
really try to just be real and be, like I said before, be where my feet are and be present with the people I'm with.
Right.
And I do have to appease my wife and make a birthday
Yeah.
post about her once a year, and
Sure, absolutely.
still waiting on a wedding post, so I got to do that. But other than that, yeah, really try to avoid social media and being on the internet.
Yeah, I appreciate you doing that. And yeah, that's actually becoming a mark of a leader. And like, I'm hearing a lot of like, not like, balance to me is zero. It sucks. I don't ever coach balance. I hate balance. I love harmony. And I'm seeing a lot of a harmonic life with you with regards to like your gods, your spiritual, your personal growth, your family, community, and work. And it, like, I liken it with my clients to like a jazz band. Like, God might be or your, whatever your belief is like the drums, and the piano is like your family, and if the guitar could be money. So if any of them's out of tune, you're not harmonic. So you don't have to be freaking Jimmy Page or Eddie Van Halen on the guitar, but you're still keeping it in key. And that's what I'm hearing a lot with you. You can tell me I'm wrong, but I'm hearing that is you dig harmony.
Totally. And I'm on the same page. There's no such thing as balance. There's
Yeah.
no such thing as I'm going to dedicate this amount of time and focus to this, and this.
Right.
You have to make sure that you're not really neglecting parts of your life.
Right.
And I think that's exactly what you're referring to.
Yeah, and balance is zero. There's nothing. If you have 10 pounds on this side and 10 pounds on that side, it's absolute zero. And that only comes when we meet our maker, man. Saying that's only time. So that's awesome. How about, what is Will's definition of a life well lived?
Definition of a life well lived would be living aligned with your purpose and your why and your values. And whatever that may be for you, define it and then live aligned with it. And
Love it.
I think the way that you go about doing that is really taking time to reflect on what your why is, what do you really value in life, what are your strongest beliefs. And once you've cultivated that, write these down, type it out, whatever it may be, reflect on these a lot.
Right.
And when you go about your daily life, if you can reflect on what you value, what you believe, and what these things that you've written down, and making a decision as you go about your daily life again, is it aligned with that? And if it's not, don't do it. And if it is, attack it 100%.
Love that, man. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, get after. And if it's what's right and wrong and what you're aligning with, it's just having the discipline of it. Basically, discipline's what, like in wrestling, we used to say discipline is doing what you don't want to do when you don't want to do it. Right. It's in being able to stay aligned and have that discipline. That's fantastic, brother. Time to Shine Today podcast Varsity Squad. We're back, and we'll definitely meet up. I love Colorado, so next time I'm around that area, we're definitely going to hook up. We probably have a brain grenade or two, or a kava if you guys have that out there, or whatnot, and talk about some of these questions for an hour, whatnot.
Yeah,
but
man.
Today you got 5 seconds with no explanations. So these are all like buzzer beaters. You ready to rock?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Will, what is the best leveling up advice you've ever received?
Mental is to physical as 3 is to 1.
Wow. Share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
Morning workout every day.
So you see me walking down the street, and you're like, Fergie, or maybe we're at an event or whatnot, and you're like, man, Fergie looks like he's in his doldrums a little bit, right? So what book are you handing me?
Ooh, I would say first one that comes to mind is Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor Frankl.
Victor, baby. It's the first one on my freaking mantle. Swear to God, right there. Your most commonly used emoji when you text?
Heart emoji to my wife.
Love it. Nicknames growing up?
Will the Thrill.
Love it. Give me a hidden talent or a superpower you have that no one really knows about until now.
I can hit my pillow and be in REM sleep in 30 seconds.
That is a superpower like no other. My girl, dude, like I laid down, hit my timer button on the phone, 8 seconds, done. She's out. And here I am, like, bro. Wow. All right. So chess, checkers, or Monopoly?
Neither. None.
Okay. No problem. Headline for your life?
Say hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Beautiful. Love it. Superstitions, any of them?
Not really. Not a big superstitious guy.
Sporty guy, you don't. That's awesome, man. That's
no.
awesome. Go-to ice cream flavor?
Haven't had ice cream in a while, but it would be Ben and Jerry's Tonight Dough.
You and your lady are gonna have ice cream this weekend just because I said that.
Right.
There's a sandwich, Will the Thrill. Build that sandwich for me.
Sandwich. So it'd be Dave's Killer Bread.
Okay.
Would go really meat it up. Turkey, bacon, chicken, throw some avocado, probably a little bit of tomato, lettuce, and little mustard on there.
You did mention bacon, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man candy. Got to have that on there. Absolutely.
Right.
Favorite charity and or organization you like to give your time or money to?
I would say Mission 22.
Nice.
I'm not sure if you've heard of that, but
yeah, I have. So please explain. I'll give you some mic time on Mission 22.
Yeah, it's an organization. So 22 comes from the estimated number of veterans that take their lives by suicide or active duty per day.
Yeah.
So it was started with that in mind. And so what it does is provide veterans, their families with educational programs, with PTSD treatment, TBI treatment, and all these types of resources to help with this big issue that's going on. And that is veterans and active duty military taking their lives.
Yeah, and you even donated to the Suicide Life Prevention Hotline not to come on here, but I did ask you to do it, so thank you for doing that. Obviously, my little brother took his life, veteran, and then 4 guys I served with in the storm or Desert Storm through the years have, at 5 now, they have taken their life. So thank you, and Mission 22 is absolutely solid. They have some of my earned money for their cause as well, for sure, 100%. Love it. Last question, best decade of music, 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s? Or you can say 2000s, young buck.
70s for sure.
Really?
70s had, I mean, I grew up listening to my dad's music, and that was Allman Brothers. That's 70s. Tom
Seeger.
Petty.
Yeah.
Yep. Tom Petty was late 70s. Zeppelin. I think Grateful Dead was going into 70s.
The Eagles, Boston, Kansas, Aerosmith,
ZZ Top. Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
The thing about the 70s is, like you, like my parents listened to it. My dad was actually friends with Seeger, right? So I get to see him growing up from Detroit and from Michigan and stuff. But like when I'm actually editing a podcast or listening, I don't really edit it. Sorry, Donnie. Donnie does all that. But like I like have the 70s on, right? Because they tell stories in the songs. right?
Right.
And it's like
Yeah.
you can hear the same story over and over again, never gets old, whether it's Gordon Lightfoot or Croce or anybody. That's awesome. And I'm not surprised because that you said it, but it's that's freaking awesome. So, Will, how can we find you, my friend?
It's hard, but no, you can find me on LinkedIn.
Yeah, go to LinkedIn. That's how we found each other. Yeah.
Yeah, LinkedIn. You can send me a message on LinkedIn and I'll respond to that. That's about it, to be honest with you.
No, it's good. And
yeah.
Superior Mind does have a YouTube channel. They have an Instagram page at Superior Mind App. There's no spaces in there. A Superior Mind App. The YouTube channel also as well. They're just kind of launching it. So when we get out there and support them. And the app, again, you go on either your iOS or your Droid and put in Superior Mind. I saw you can actually put a space in between Superior and Mind, but if you want to pull up the exact, just put Superior Mind with no space in between them. Absolutely fantastic app. And what I'm going to do is the first person that puts Will the Thrill into any social, or if you text it to 561-440-3830, anywhere, I don't care if it's Pinterest, Facebook, Instagram, I will pay for 1 year of the app for you. Actually, 3 people. Let's do 3 people because it's so affordable, Squad. So affordable. So I'll pay for 3 people for 1 year to have access to that app. And Will, do me with one last solid and leave me with one last knowledge nugget we can take with us, internalize, and take action on.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I could leave you with is this quote that my basketball coach, Buzz Williams, gave me, and that is, pay attention to what you pay attention to. What you focus on, you feed it. And so basically what that means is every day we have maybe, I think the research says between 6 and I think I've seen up to 70,000 thoughts every single day. And of those thoughts, up to 95% of those are the exact same day to day.
Right.
So only 5% of those thoughts are new. So every day you're having thousands of thoughts. What are you focusing on while you're driving, while you're brushing your teeth or washing the dishes, cooking dinner, walking the dog, whatever it is, you're focusing on something. And is that a problem or what's not going right in your life? Or is that something that you're grateful of, or what is going right, and solutions to those problems? So really just try to cultivate that awareness, pay attention to what you're paying attention to, and fixate on those solutions and what's going well versus those problems.
Wow, that's fantastic. And Squad, I have pages of notes here with my good friend Will Johnston. Again, D1 basketball player, United States Navy SEAL. He's all about the action more than the talk. Again, like we've talked about, the more action you take, the more people you serve, then they will actually do the talking for you. So get out there and serve. That's what my good friend Will would say. Discipline, Will, is delayed gratification, knowing the suffering is going to happen and you're going to deal with the pain, but you won't have to live with the pain or regret. His app that he's a part of, the Superior Mind, performance psychology, really to improve your life and help you really level up. It's kind of broke down into 4 parts: performance, mental health and growth, helping you find your purpose, which is the foundation to success, and also help you recharge. And I love the non-sleep deep rest that really helps you, just especially in the middle of the day, instead of reaching for that Red Bull, try the app. I'm telling you, it will help. That self-awareness is key. And that's the foundation to excellence, according to Will, which Will is really big into helping you with your visualizing and helping what you visualize come to fruition. And when you're going to start working with a coach, make sure you ask them to help you find your why if you don't know it already, because the why, as Will said, is where everything really starts. And as a good coach, Will reminded us that relationships belong well before the coaching and the consulting. Really, I'm not saying you have to go out and be buddies. What I'm saying is that you really want to, as a coach, make sure that you're getting the foundation to your client. And if you're the client, make sure that the coach is doing that with you and that they're the right horse for the course. He wants you to work smarter and not harder. And if you don't know something, like my good friend Leah Woodford would say, get your asking gear. People are out there that are willing to help. get out there and ask for it. And do not forget your downtime for rest and recuperation. When he told me about his gnarly ass issue with his arm, it could have been prevented, but he pushed through. And I think if you look back, you'd probably want to have that looked at a little bit quicker. Yeah. Also, Will talked about giving yourself grace and space and to be where your feet are. So if something doesn't work out, don't launch yourself away from it. Give yourself grace and space within a moment. And Will is somebody that's really planting trees this dude's never going to sit in the shade of, because what he's teaching and what he's putting out there is very evergreen, because he's coming from a place of intention, not attention. He's not look at me. Again, his actions is what is out there, and that he wants you to live aligned with your purpose, in your whys and your values. Get aligned with those, because you can't go wrong if you are. Lastly, that he got from Coach Buzz is pay attention to what you pay attention to and feed your focus. What you feed is what's going to grow. And that's what my good buddy Will has grown into, an awesome person, coach, consultant, just absolutely kick-ass human being. You level up your health, you level up your wealth, you're healthy, yet you're humble. You're hungry, yet you're humble. You've earned another letter, our Varsity Squad letter here at Time to Shine today. Thank you so much for coming on, brother. I absolutely love your guts. Well, I can't wait to collaborate with you, my man.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for having me on. This has been great, and I'm looking forward to meeting you when you come out here to Colorado.
Hey, thanks so much for listening to this episode of Time to Shine Today podcast, proudly brought to you by Sutter & Nugent Real Estate Excellence, who can be reached at 561-249-7266 and online at www.sutterandnugent.com. If you are a business owner or professional who would like to be interviewed on Time to Shine Today, please visit timetoshinetoday.com/guest. If you like this episode, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts. There's a link in the show notes to our website. Also there, you will see our recommended resources. We hope that you will support our show by supporting them. If you like what you've been listening to, it'd be great if you could just give us a 5-star rating and tell your friends how to subscribe while you're at it. I'm your host, Scott Ferguson, and until next time, let's level up. It's our time to shine.